Hello, welcome back to some 1947 National League baseball, Strat-O-Matic style. Um, Today we have the reigning World Series champions, St. Louis Cardinals, in town to take on the Cincinnati Reds at Crosley Field. Um, this is the last game in the National League on opening day, Tuesday, 4/15/47. So again, just a little background with this replay. I'm using just the cards. So I'm using the original PC version. So wherever the players are carded, that's kind of what we're going with this year. I'm doing injuries, and no as played lineup. So as Kirk Berglund says, heads might explode all over this great land of ours, as he says. But at any rate, just trying to do every game this year. So again, we'll see how it goes. So this is the first game of the year for the Cardinals and the Reds. And again, the Cardinals ended up the year in second place at 89-65. The Reds ended up fifth in the National League at 73-81. And again, the Cardinals won the World Series in 1946. So they come into this game the reigning world champions. So we'll get the game started. So hopefully everything is laid out okay. Always tweaking this, trying to get it to where it's enjoyable to watch. So anyway, let's get started. So leading off for the Cardinals will be Red Shane East, who I have an autograph of, sitting here on my desk. He was on the 57 Milwaukee Brave World Series champions. So on the mound for the Reds is Yul Blackwell. He was 22-8 with a 2.47 ERA, as you can see. So should be a good pitching matchup. Going for the Cardinals is Red Munger, who was their most used starter. As you can see here at Crosley Field, we have an average day, and lefties have a good chance for a home run at 1-19, righties at 1-4. So here we go. So here's Red Shandies to start off the game. That's a 1-6, and versus a righty, that's going to be a ground ball to second base. Zientara will field that for the Reds and throw him out to Babe Young for out number 1. Terry Moore, the St. Louis center fielder, will step up next. Just a second here. When you start these, I have to make some adjustments because they've got the right-handed batter right on the plate. So I got to move him over some. Go up to 400. Okay, so Yul Blackwell will focus his attention on Terry Moore. Terry Moore hit 283, 7 home runs, 45 RBIs in the real-life season. That's a 6-4. That's a fly out to center field. Bert Haas, who in 46 was a first baseman, is in center field for some reason, and he's rated as a 419. So this could be interesting. So he needs, a 12 to not. He gets a 4, so that's not good. That's going to be a double, and we got a 7 and an 8. So thankfully he didn't make an error on top of it. So Bert Haas will not be able to get that one as it's hit into the left center field alley. And Moore will coast into second with a double. His first of the season. And by the way, in this particular replay, even though I'm playing every game, I just manage one team and let the computer manage the other. So I obviously have my favorite. So this one, I'm letting the St. Louis Cardinals be managed by the computer, and I'm doing the Reds. So Stan Musial will step up. He had an off year this year. It just hit 312, 19 home runs. That's off for him. We're not going to walk him because Waddy Karowski behind him is a very good hitter as well. So we will take our chances with Stan the Man. So Yul Blackwell in trouble here early. He gets a 6-8 And that's going to be a fly out to center field, and Haas will be able to get to this one. And he will track it down for out number 2. And Moore will scamper back to second. So Whitey Kurowski will step up. Enos Slaughter's on deck, so we're not going to walk Kurowski. So this is a clutch situation. Kurowski loses 1 hit in clutches, which is a 1-5. And we get a 1-9, and he's going to walk. So he will get a walk, even though it wasn't intentional. So that'll bring up Enos Slaughter, who had his mad dash in 1946 World Series. So he will step to the plate. He hit 294. He had a very long career. So he had 31 doubles, 10 or 13 triples, 10 home runs. So here he gets his first crack of the year at Ewell Blackwell. And that's a 3-6, and that's going to be hit down to Babe Young at first base. And he will take it himself, and so Ewell is able to dodge the jam. So no runs, 1 base hit, no errors, and they leave 2 on after a half an inning. St. Louis nothing. The Reds coming to bat. So Frankie Baumholtz, who will lead things off for the Reds. I know Frankie Baumholtz as a Cub because most of my experience is in the early to mid-50s, and so he was with Chicago for quite a while. But here he is with the Reds, so he will lead off. Red Munger was 16-5 with 3 saves with a 3.37 ERA for the Cardinals this year. So the left-handed Baumholtz versus the right-handed Munger. That's a 3-8, and that's going to be a solid single to left. So he goes the other way and slaps it out to Slaughter. So the Reds get their first base runner of the game, and he's a decent chance to get a steal. Munger holds at a +4, and Garagiola, who is catching, is a +1. But if he gets a 9, Baumholtz is automatically out stealing. So, it's early in the year. Let's see what happens. So we're going to give him a chance here to see what he does. So he just doesn't get a lead. Okay. So they have the corners in. We're going to try to sacrifice bunt here for Zientara. And it's bounced back to Munger, and his only play is to first. So good sacrifice bunt for Zientara. 1-4 for out number 1. That puts Frankie Baumholtz on second. He has a 50% chance of stealing third as they're not holding him, but we'll go ahead and take our chances with Grady Hatton. Left-handed hitting third baseman for the Reds. He gets a 5-8, and that's going to be a strikeout. So not able to catch up with the heater. So big strikeout there. So it's Babe Young. Hit 275, 14 home runs, and 378 at bats. So a pretty good year, even though he didn't play the complete year. So it's a clutch situation here, and he does pick up a clutch hit at 3-4. So that's a 3-9, and he's going to proceed to strike out as well. So Munger does a good job of getting out of a pickle as well. So no runs, a hit, and the Reds leave a runner on after 1 complete. We're scoreless. So Ewell Blackwell will face Ron Northey, right fielder for St. Louis. He hit 268 with 15 home runs, 66 RBIs in real life. That's a 5-7, and that's going to be a strikeout. That's first strikeout today for Ewell Blackwell, and the first out of the second. Marty Marion, who's an excellent fielding shortstop, will hit. He hit 272 with 74 RBIs, so not a bad hitter either. So here's the pitch from the right-handed Yule Blackwell. That's a 2-3, and that's going to be a walk. So that's walk number 2 given up by Blackwell today. Marty Marion gets a lead on 3. So, and he doesn't have an automatic out. And he doesn't get an automatic lead if you don't hold him. So I think we're going to have Babe Young play behind him with Garagiola at the plate. So let's see if the Cincinnati manager does anything. So they are going to see if he gets a lead, and he doesn't. So they'll let Garagiola hit away. That's a 1-7, and need a 1-9 for a single, and he got an 8. So that's going to be a 1 base advancement for Marion. Oop, must have hit the wrong button here. Let me undo that. So that's a 1-7. And got an 8 on the 20. So that's going to be a base hit. So that'll put runners on first and second for Munger, who is a 3-hitter. And in this in particular replay, I didn't use the actual pitcher hitting cards, even though they are available, because I'm trying to make this as cards and dice experience as possible. So we are using the pitcher's hitting, generic pitcher hitting cards, and Munger is a 3 with no power. So he actually squares the bunt with 1 out, surprisingly enough. So I think we'll get to sure out at first. We have a 1-11 Marion at third, but we'll go ahead and just get the... So that'll put runners on second and third. Sack bunt. And it was hit down to Hatton for out number 2. So that gives Red Shandies an opportunity here. And he is a clutch hitter. His 1-7 and 2-9 turned to singles. So Red Shandies, who grounded out to second his first at bat with a chance to put the Cardinals up here in the second, gets a 6-6 versus a lefty, and that's going to be a fly ball out to right field. Baumholtz will track it down. And for the second inning in a row, Blackwell dodges a bullet. No runs, a hit, no errors. Another couple of runners left on. We go to the bottom of the second, 0-0. So that Bert Haas will lead things off for the Reds. Again, he, for some reason, they put him in center field this year. And as we've seen, he is not. He is a first baseman in center field, but he hit .286 with 3 home runs, 67 RBIs. That's a 1-6, and that's going to be a solid single to right field. So he goes the other way. Lines it over Musial's head. And Northey will scoop it up, fire it back in. So the Reds, for the second inning in a row, get their leadoff runner on. Wasn't able to do much with it in the first inning. So he's actually got a decent chance to steal if he gets a lead, which is 6 or 7. He's automatically out on a 12. So we're going to try to take that. And he's running, and Garagiola doesn't even try to throw. So he got the lead, and Garagiola let him steal it. So Bert Haas, the first baseman center fielder, gets a stolen base. His first of the year. So that'll bring up Ollie Galan, playing left field today. He hit .314 and 392 at bats. He's a switch hitter with the right-handed Munger. He will be batting left-handed. That's a 3-6, and that's a 2-star single. So he will put the Reds ahead 1-0. He lines one up the middle. And Haas will score easily. So stolen base paid off there. The Reds are up 1-0. So Galan is not going to steal anything. So they're going to play behind him, and they're going to have the infield in for Miller. But I'm going to go ahead. Miller had 19 home runs, so shortstop for the Reds. We're going to let him hit away. Hopefully he can avoid the double play. 4-4 versus a righty, and that's going to be a ground ball to short, and Marion is a 116, so our only hope is an error because he does have a little bit of a high E rating, but not much. Anything 5 and up is going to be a double play. And he gets a 7, and he gets a 9, so that's going to be a 6-4-3. So Marty, and he takes it in the hole, throws it across his body over to Shane Dees. Nice turn, 6-4-3. So nice defense by the Cardinals. They turned 2 for the first time in 1947, so with nobody on and 2 out, Ray Lamano, catcher extraordinaire, will step to the plate. He hit 257 in the real life season. That's a 4-7. 1-5 is a single. Got a 7, so that's going to be a ground ball to third. So 4-7. Rolled a 7 on the 20. So Whitey Kurowski will field that. Throw on to Stan Musial, who is playing first base this year. Normally he plays the outfield, but the Reds take the lead on a couple hits, no errors, nobody left. After 2 innings, it's 1-0 Cincinnati Reds. Terry Moore, lead off for the Cardinals here. They got 2, 3, and 4 due up. He doubled and was stranded there back in the first. His first double of the year, of course. That's a 4-4, and that's going to be a catcher X. And the catcher's a 3-9, so there's nobody on base, so that will help. So we'll see what happens here. He gets a 7, so I think that's a pop out. 11-13, but he makes a 1-base error. That's the only error he had, and he found it. So that'll be an E2 as Moore makes it to first. So you don't want to give the Cardinals a free one there, which Lamano did. So Moore doesn't get an automatic lead, and he needs a 3 to get a lead, and he's automatically out on a 12. So we're going to let Babe Young play behind him. Stan Musial, he flew out to center field. So they try to get a lead, and Moore doesn't get one, so he will hold out at first. So Stan Musial, nobody out. Moore on first base, who runs at a 12. That's a 5-8, and that's going to be a second base X. Zantara is a 220. So hopefully he can turn the double play here. So he gets a 14, so that is a G1. 9-12. Just missed an error, so that's going to be good defense by Zantara as he'll throw over to Miller. Back to Young for a 4-6-3 double play. So the Reds return the favor with their own double play. So that bring Whitey Kurowski up to the plate. Nobody on, 2 out. He had a very good year, hit .310, 27 home runs, 104 RBIs. He walked in his first at-bat. And he gets a 4-5, and that's going to be a solid double out to center field. As the first baseman, Haas, playing center field, not able to catch to it as this one hits the wall in left center field. And Kurowski is on with the Cardinals' second double of the game. So that'll bring Enos Slaughter to the plate with an opportunity to tie it up or more. He hit to Babe Young at first unassisted. They're not going to hold on Kurowski at second. So the left-handed Slaughter versus the right-handed Blackwell. And that's a 2-2, and that's going to be hit hard, but right at the second baseman. Zantara will flag it down, and that's it for the Cardinals. So they get no runs, a hit, 1 error, runner left. They've left 5 on in 3 innings. So we go to the home half of the third. Still 1-0 Cincinnati. Ewell Blackwell will lead things off here in the home half of the third. He's a one-hitter, so not a great batter. He gets a 5-11, and he's a righty, but he is going to draw a walk. So how about that? Munger not wanting to do that, I am sure. That's his first walk of the day, given up. Blackwell runs at a 10, which is very typical for pitchers. So that brings up Frankie Baumholtz. They're going to play the corners in. And bunting might not be a bad idea. Baumholtz is an A, but he's a 283 hitter versus lefties. Actually, he favors righties by 2, and Munger favors lefties by 1. So that's a +1 advantage for him. I'm going to go ahead and let him hit away. Let's see if hopefully he won't hit into a double play. That's a 1-7, and that's popped up on the infield. Marty Marion will wave everyone off and put it away for out number 1. So that'll bring Benny Zientara, the second baseman. He had a sacrifice bunt in his first at bat. That's a 1-8, and that's going to be popped up on the infield as well as Munger keeps throwing the high cheese. The Reds not able to get on top of the ball. Red Shandies will call this one as well. Out number 2. So that brings up Grady Hatton. With Ewell still on first base, Hatton struck out in his first effort of the year. That's a 2-11, and that's going to be hit hard to Shandies at second base. But he will field it cleanly. Throw on to Stan the Man Musial to end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 runner left. We got 3 in the books here in Cincinnati, 1-0 Reds. So Ron Northey will take the first crack at Ewell Blackwell here in the 4th. He struck out in his first effort of the game. He hit 15 home runs in the real-life season, and that's a 2-3, and that's going to be a walk. So walk number 3 given up today by Ewell Blackwell. Don't like the lead off the inning with 1. Northey gets a lead on 6, is thrown out on 8, so I don't think we're going to hold him. See, Marty Marion is up, then Garagiola and the pitcher, so I don't think they're going to bunt, but we're going to play the infield back. So they are indeed going to hit away with Marty Marion. That's a 6-9. That's a shortstop X. Miller is a 222, so he's a decent fielder out there. So let's see if he can field it cleanly and throw the double play. He needs a 10 or more to get a double play. And so we get a 16, so that is a double play if there's no error. And we get a 7-9, and it is indeed. So Miller was going to make the play. Tosses it to Zientara on to Young, and that is a 6-4-3 double play. So that's the second one turned by the Reds today, as they are leading the Cardinals 2-1 in that category. So that'll bring up Joe Garagiola. He singled in his first at bat, so nobody on, 2 out. Left-handed hitting catcher. He gets a 6-9, and that's another shortstop X opportunity. So we'll see if Miller can earn his money with the glove this time again. So he gets a 16 again, and he gets a 14, which is just misses an error. 15 would have been an error, so he will field it cleanly. So some good defense out there by Mr. Miller. And for the first inning, the Cardinals don't leave anybody on. All right, bottom of the 4th coming up. We got 4, 5, and 6 due for the Reds. Babe Young will lead things off. He struck out in his first at bat. That's a 6-9 versus the lefty, and that's trouble. That's going to be a double to center field. 6-9, roll to 12 on the 20. Babe Young had 22 doubles in the real-life campaign, but he hits that into the right center field gap on a line. And that's going to be an easy two-bagger as Terry Moore races in and fires it back in. But Young is on with a leadoff double. Getting his revenge for that strikeout in the first. So he runs at a 10, so they're not going to hold him on. And that brings up Bert Haas, who has singled, stole a base, and scored the lone run of the day. So they got the infield back, and I'm not going to try to bunt. So here is Bert Haas. Gets a 1-7. He needs a 6 to get a single and got a 10. So that's going to be hit hard, but right at Karowski at third. And for out number 1. So that brings up Augie Galan, who singled and in the lone run of the day. Seeing if he can do that again. Left-handed hitter, actually a switch hitter. Batting left for the righty Munger. That's a 4-5. That's a ground ball X to Marty Marion, and we've already established his defensive prowess. So let's see if he can match Mr. Miller with his glove at short. So he gets a 12. So that's a G1, and he gets a 15, and his E is on 14. So he's going to make a fine play. Young has a 1-7 chance. So I think I don't want to take those odds. We'll just keep Young at second. And Marty Marion throws out Galan for out number 2. So Eddie Miller. Again, he hit 19 home runs, so he does have some pop in his bat. This is a clutch opportunity, and he loses a hit on 1-2 and 1-3. So not a lot of difference, but seeing if he can drive in that run. That's a 3-9, and that's hit hard, but right at Marty Marion, it's short. He sets and throws on to Mr. Musial to end the inning. Well, the Reds waste a leadoff double as they've left 3 on today, and we go to the top of the 5th, 1-0, Cincinnati. Munger will lead off here for the Cardinals. He has a sacrifice bunt to his credit on the day. Today is a day game, Tuesday, April 15th, 1947. 33,383 on hand here for opening day to see the World Series champion Cardinals take on their beloved Reds. That's a 3-7, and he is going to whiff. Strikeout number 2 for Mr. Blackwell. Strikeout swinging for Unger, out number 1. Red Shane Deast is 0 for 2. He's bounced out and flied out. Get his third crack at Mr. Yule. That's a 2-7, and he needs a 1-16. Got a 15, so he's going to collect his first hit of the year. Lines it back up the middle. So hit number 4 today, as both teams have collected 4 hits now. Shane Deast is 2-5 and a 12 a lead, 10-11. He's automatically out, so I think I'm going to hold him over there. And Terry Moore, who has doubled and reached on an error, will hit. We do have the infield back. They're not trying to bunt or anything. That's a 5-7, and that's a strikeout. So strikeout number 3 of the game, second of the inning for Ewell Blackwell, as Moore swings and misses for out number 2. So Stan Musial. So I think we're going to unhold. We're going to play behind Shane Deast now. Musial is a lefty. So let's see if they... Nope, they're not going to try anything. So Stan Musial is flied out and hit into a double play today. He gets a 2-6, and that's hit hard again, but right at Young at first base. And he flips it on to Blackwell covering, and so that will do it for the Cardinals in the 5th. So they get a hit and leave another runner on. We go to the bottom of the fifth, still 1-0 Cincinnati. So we got 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Reds here in their half of the fifth. Lamano grounded out to Crosley at third in his first bat of the day. That's a 1-10, and that's going to be a solid single. Could have got a double if he had a 4, but we rolled an 11, so Ray Lamano will collect his first hit of the 1947 season. He has no chance of stealing, so they're playing the corners in, of course, for Ewell Blackwell. And Blackwell hits at a 1, so of course we are going to try to bunt. He bunts at an A, so here is the squares around. He fouls off the attempt, so we're 1 and 2. So I think I'm going to stay with the bunt. And it's hit down to Musial at first, and he fires it to the first base to get the out. So successful sack bunt 1-4 for Ewell Blackwell, and so that puts Lamano at second. He runs at a 9, so not the quickest runner ever, but typical for a catcher. So Frankie Baumholtz is singled and popped out. 1 out, runner on second base. Throw the dice across the table. So that's a 4-8, and that's a fly ball out to center field. Terry Moore will run it down for out number 2. Oh, 2 outs. It's up to Zientara, who is sack bunt and a pop out in his 2 plate appearances today. And he is definitely not a clutch hitter. His whole 3 column turns to pop outs. And he gets a 3-9, and that is indeed one of his clutch hitting. So Zientara, not being the clutch hitter, pops out to short. Marty Marion will collect it to end the inning. So another runner left on for the Reds. They've left on 4 today. So after 5 complete, still 1-0 Reds. So 4, 5, and 6 are due up here in the 6 for the Cardinals. Whitey Crosley has walked and doubled. He doubled in the 3rd, but with 2 outs was left stranded there. So that's a 4-6, and that's going to be a solid single. As we get a 14 on the 20-sided dice. So that's lined in between Hatton and Miller on the left side of the infield, and so the Cardinals get the tying run on first to lead off the 5th. Crosley, if he gets a 3, he gets a lead. Ewell holds it at +2. Lamano throws it a -2. So we're going to play behind him. They're going to try, but he doesn't get a lead. So Enos Slaughter is 0 for 2 today. Good left-handed hitter, so we won't play behind Crosley. That's a 6-8, and that's a fly ball out to Haas in center field. And he will put it away for out number 1. One away for Ron Northey, who has walked and struck out. Left-handed hitting right fielder. He gets a 4-9, and that's going to be a walk. So Ewell Blackwell is 2 better against righties, and a lot of that is walks. So he does walk quite a few more lefties. So that'll put runners on first and second. And Marty Marion will step to the plate with 1 out. Crosley at second runs at a 14. And Marion has walked and hit into a double play, so Blackwell would like that result again here. The tying run on second. That's a 6-7, and that is hit hard to Miller at shortstop. He fields it cleanly, underhands it to Zientara, fires on to Young, and that is an inning-ending, soul-destroying 6-4-3 double play, as our friend Kurt Berglund would say. So that is the third double play the Reds have turned today. So no runs, a hit, no errors. They did leave one more on. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Still Cincinnati with a 1-run lead. So number 3 hitter, Grady Hatton, will start off the festivities here in the home half of the 6th. He's 0 for 2 today. So we've got a pitcher's duel going here and some fine defense, which I always enjoy those types of games. 2-6, but that will be a walk. So walk number 2 given up by Munger. And Grady Hatton will reach first base for the first time in 1947. If he gets a 3, he gets a lead. He's not automatically thrown out, so we'll see if he can get that 3. And he does not. So he will hold where he's at. And that brings up Babe Young, who's doubled and struck out. That's a 3-7, and that's popped up on the infield. So not able to get on top of Munger's fastball. Red Shane East will drift over out to our outfield just a little bit and put it away for out number 1. Bert Haas, he singled, stole a base, and lined out to Crosley at third. That's a 2-7, and that's a fly ball out to center field. Terry Moore, who has a 2-7 out there, will have no trouble putting it away for out number 2. So 2 out for Augie Glenn. He has driven in the only run today with a single back in the 2nd inning to drive in Bert Haas. And that's a 6-4 versus a lefty, and that's a catcher. Garagiola is a 4-1. So that might be a pass ball. We'll see. 6-4. So we'll see what we get here. So he gets a 3, so I think that's going to be a wild pitch. And we got an 11, no error. But that is indeed gets past Garagiola, and that scored as a wild pitch. So Grady Hatton finds himself at 3rd, or 2nd rather. That's Munger's first wild pitch of the year. So Galan with a runner in scoring position. His 2-7 turns to a single in this clutch situation. However, it looks like they're going to intentionally walk Galan. So that's interesting. Burt Miller, with those 19 home runs, will step up with 2 runners on. So interesting strategy by the St. Louis manager. We'll see how it pays off. So Eddie Miller with a chance to give the Reds a bit of a cushion. He's grounded into a double play and grounded out to short. So here's a big opportunity. Let's see what happens. That's a 3-3, and that's hit softly down to first. So that's Jams Miller, and he just hits a slow grounder down to Musial. Musial takes it himself, and that will do it. So the strategy worked out for the Cardinals. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 runners left on. We go to the top of the 7th with still 1-0 Reds. So Joe Garagiola has singled and grounded out. He'll lead off here in the top of the 7th. And that's a 6-5, and that's going to be a strikeout. Strikeout number 4 today for Ewell. Right down the middle, strike 3. Garagiola looking like he's looking for something else there. Now he's looking for a seat on the bench. So that brings up Munger. Let's see if they let him hit, and they're going to, as this is 1947 after all. That's a 3-4, and that's strikeout number 2 of the inning. Munger takes that one. It's a strike 3 call. Munger don't agree, but he is out nonetheless. So strikeout number 5 today for Blackwell. He had 193 in 273 innings. So Red Shane East will step up with 2 out, nobody on. He's 1 for 3. That's a 6-5. He's a lefty, and Blackwell has struck out the side. And In 659 at-bats, Shane D struck out 27 times, so that is not something he does very often. So Blackwell must be throwing some gas. All right, 7th inning stretch time. Our trivia question is, what were the primary positions of the following players? Johnny Evers, Frank Chance, and Joe Tinker. Well, I know Chance was the first baseman. I think Chance was the shortstop and Evers was the second baseman. So let's see how I did. Evers played second. Chance played first. Tinker played shortstop. So I think that's what I said. So Evers to Tinker to Chance, that famous poem from the dead ball era of the Cubs. All right, so here we go. Bottom of the 7th for the Reds. They've got Ray Lamano, the catcher, will lead off. Munger still on the hill. Pitched a fine game so far, but finds himself down 1-0. That's a 3-4, and that's a solid single to center field. So Lamano with his second base hit of the day. We'll bring up Ewell Blackwell, who everybody in the ballpark will be expecting to bunt. Corners are in, and so he will indeed be trying to bunt. And Munger fields it, and he throws on to first after taking a look at Lamano, decided to take the safe out. So Blackwell with his second sacrifice bunt of the day. So Frankie Baumholtz, who is 1 for 3, has a chance to give the Reds a little extra cushion here, as they just have a 1-run lead. Would like a couple more if they can get it. That's a 2-4 versus a righty. 1-15 is a 1-star single, and he gets a 14, so that's not going to be able to score Lamano. But it will be a single nonetheless. Hit up the middle. Lamano runs at a 9, so Baumholtz hit it hard. Moore with a -1 arm, so they're not going to take that chance as they hold Lamano up at third. So the Reds have runners on the corner with 1 out. Baumholtz is a 2-5 and a 9. He's automatically out, so I don't want to take that chance. Let's see if we can get Lamano in. Hopefully Zientara won't hit into a double play. He's 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt today. The Cardinals are playing the corners in, trying to cut off the bunt or a grounder to the corners. That's a 4-4, and that's a hit to shortstop, so that's not good, as Marty Marion is a 116 out there. So this very well could be a 6-4-3 double play. Anything 5 and above is going to be. And he rolls a 9, so unless he gets an error, we're in trouble. That's a 5-7, and that's exactly what it is. So Marty Marion earning his money with the glove out there. Turns a 6-4-3 double play. So both teams are flashing the leather out there with the double plays for sure. So the Reds get no runs on 2 hits. They leave a runner on. We go to the top of the 8th. Still 1-0 Cincinnati. All right, Ewell Blackwell. Not given much to work with here. He's got 2, 3, and 4 due up. So Terry Moore is singled and reached on an error, or actually doubled rather. Struck out his last at bat. That's a 2-8 versus the righty, and that's a fly ball out to Haas in center field. Takes a few steps to right center field and puts it away for out number 1. Stan Musial is 0 for 3. Again, Stan had a good year by anybody else's standards, but not quite as good for him. And that's a 2-8, and that's hit hard down to Young at first base. He fields it cleanly. And he will flip it to Blackwell for out number 2. All right, Whitey Krowski is 2 for 2 with a double and a walk, so he's had a good day at the plate. He has collected 2 of the 5 Cardinal base hits. Looking for number 3 here. That's a 5-8, and that's a second base X. Again, Zientara is a 220. So let's see if he can make the play to end the 8th inning here. So he gets a 13, so he gets to it. He's got an 8-9, and he will make the play. So nice play by Zientara out there, showing he can flash a little leather as well. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. 1-0 Cincinnati Reds. So Grady Hatton has walked in 3 plate appearances, rather. I keep missing the tower today for some reason. That's a 4-8. He's a lefty, and that's going to be a fly ball out to Moore in center field. He will track it down for out number 1. Babe Young is doubled in 3 plate appearances. That's a 2-8, and that's trouble. That is hit deep. As he gets a 2, and he gets all of that one out to center field. Moore will head back to the wall, but he will just watch it go. That's out of here. So that's a big insurance run. So Babe Young with a double and a home run. Obviously his first homer of the year, and the Reds are up 2-0. So big home run there. All right, so Bert Haas will take his crack at Munger here. Reds up 2-0. That's a 2-8, and that's popped up on the infield. Marty Marion will wave everyone off and put it away for the second out of the inning. So Augie Galan was singled in a run and intentionally walked. 2 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 8th. That's a 5-2. He's a lefty, and so that's going to be hit out to center field. That would have been a possible single with a right-handed hitter. So Terry Moore will chase it down, and that will do it for the Reds. But they do get that one big important run. Nobody left on. We go to the top of the 9th. Cincinnati 2, the world champion St. Louis Cardinals, 0. So Ewell Blackwell looking to see if he can get the shutout here. We'll have to face Enos Slaughter first. Slaughter is 0 for 3 in the game today. That's a 2-7 versus a righty. He hits it hard, but right at the second baseman. Zientara will field it and throw it for out number 1. Ron Northey has walked twice and struck out. He's walked twice and been erased on a 6-4 double 3 or 6-4-3 double play twice. That's a 3-9, and that's a strikeout. So Blackwell still in control, gets strikeout number 7 of the game. So it's down to Marty Marion, who is 0 for 2. He's walked and hit into 2 double plays. Cincinnati fans on their feet, all 33,000 of them here, trying to cheer Blackwell on to the shutout. Here we go. That's a 2-6, and 1-2 is a homer, but he got a 12, so that's hit deep out to right field. So Marion got a lot of it, but not enough, as Baumholtz will race back to the warning track. Feel for the wall, and put it away. So that'll do it, as the Cincinnati Reds defeat the St. Louis Cardinals 2-0. And we'll look at our box score here a little bit. So Ewell Blackwell, 9 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts for the shutout. Red Munger pitched a good game, but not good enough. Babe Young with a double and a home run, driven in a run. Galan driven in a run. I'd say the MVP of the game would definitely be Ewell Blackwell with the shutout. So an exciting game here. So this will end Tuesday, August the 15th, as all the National League games are completed. So that just leaves I did one American League game. There was a game on Monday. The New York Yankees were in to face the Senators. and then there's a slate of games on Tuesday. So that will be coming up next. So I might get a game on the channel for that. But wanted to show off my 1947 set. Enjoying it very much. I love Strat. Strat's a great game. That's one thing about playing other games, and I love those games as well. But it just brings me back to how much I love Strat too. It's my favorite. And so anyway, there you have it from Crosley Field in Cincinnati. Cincinnati Reds 2, St. Louis Cardinals nothing. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you next time.